the Super Bowl is a Super Bowl, but then
Right.
there's the commercials in the Super Bowl. And I realized, oh my God, I think I kind of done something special here. I feel so proud. I feel so American being part of the culture.
Welcome to Story and Craft. Now, here's your host, Mark Preston.
All right, here we go. Back again, you and I, another episode of Story and Craft. So good to have you. If this is your first episode, welcome. Glad to have you as well. Today, sitting down, having a fun, lively conversation, or actually, it's a fun conversation with a very lively, cool guest. Danay Garcia. She was in the show Prison Break, also spent a number of years on Fear the Walking Dead. The new show, M.I.A, on NBC and Peacock. It was a great conversation, talked about her history, her heritage coming from Cuba. Had a great time talking with Danay. I think you'll enjoy this as well. Hey, don't forget to make sure to grab your phone or whatever device you're listening on. Make sure to like Story and Craft, follow the show, because that way you'll get notified every time a new episode comes out. It also helps people to find Story and Craft, which I appreciate greatly. You can also go to storyandcraftpod.com. Everything you want to know about the show, it is right there. Also, Substack, just go to storyandcraft.substack.com. Okay, so let's get after it. Today is Danay Garcia Day, right here on Story and Craft. So am I saying your name right? It's Danay, correct?
It's Danay.
Danay. Okay, good.
Don't deny it.
I'm not going to, I promise. So where are you joining me from today?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Well, you're just a little bit north of me. I'm down on South Padre, so we're not that far.
Oh, so we're in Texas, same state.
Yeah, we're not that far from each other. Yeah. But I see you're originally from Cuba, correct?
That is right. I'm from Havana. Yes.
Wow, from Havana to Austin. I got to know: are there a lot of similarities? Are there things you see in Austin that remind you at all of Cuba, or is it totally different?
Well, the weather is pretty straightforward, right? It's hot.
Humid, yeah.
Very humid. We don't have the oceans, but we have beautiful rivers in Austin. So it's a good combination. South Padre Island, I remember everybody was like, if you want the beach, go to South Padre Island.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest to Cuba I think there is. I think you're closer to Cuba than me in terms of experience.
Well, perhaps, yeah, it's funny enough, being from Dallas originally, where I grew up, it could get ironically more humid there than it can get down here sometimes, which is just odd. But you get that really oppressive heat in Dallas, and where it's like 100 degrees is no big deal. I'm like, down here, if it gets really far above 90, it's a rarity,
I did a show called Prison Break, and we shot it in Dallas.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It was so hot. And I remember thinking, why does it feel hotter than in Cuba here? And the reason, and then I figured it out, and I think that's what you're experiencing.
I think it's all the concrete.
You have an ocean.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have an ocean, and the ocean has breeze, like you can't it cools you down. And in Dallas, it's just you're not close to any mass of water, and
I think it's the largest landlocked city in America. I think they told me that one.
That sounds a lot. I don't think it ought.
They got creeks. That's about it. Yeah. No, there's some lakes there. People go do the lake thing, but
they're not big enough to cool you down. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not like in Austin we have the Colorado River, and it runs through the downtown, and there's still some. If you sit by the river, it's not as intense like when you're like in the middle of the flat desert.
Well, it's funny. I did a little bit of, I don't like to do a lot of research because I like just to sit down and have a conversation, but I did run across something that, I always end up talking food at least once on every episode. And I noticed you do, like, you're a foodie. You're a kind of a cooking sort of maven. We'll touch on that most certainly, but I got to know, Austin, have you ever been to Franklin Barbecue by any chance?
Of course.
Okay, I have to live
it's
like
amazing.
I've tried to go there so many times. Well, a few times, and it's either the line was crazy, or it was COVID, and they did the thing where you had to order ahead, and I'm like, so it's
no, you can't do that. No, you have to live the moment. Eating during COVID was a nightmare for me. It's just the whole experience of eating just goes away by the amount of preparation before you eat is just too much.
Well, there's a place here on the island that they still have it. They've got a vestige of the COVID times. They still have one of those like little scanners. You go and you like look at, and then it scans you and it gets your temperature or whatever. They never took it out of the entranceway. So every time I go there, I always take my temperature just for fun now.
You know what's your temperature?
I'm like a little kid. I'm like, what's my temperature now?
Before I eat, I need to know what's my temperature. That's funny.
I should be doing it on the way out, especially if it's spicy. But how long have you lived in Austin?
I've been here since I did a show called Fear the Walking Dead.
Right.
And Fear the Walking Dead, we did 2 seasons in Baja, in Ensenada. And then we moved to Austin in 2018. So I got a good taste of Austin before COVID, which was, but working, it's like you don't get to really explore the city.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the apocalypse, it's like so intense. You just don't. But then in 2020, that's when I relocated for good, because the whole traveling during COVID while being in production was so complex, and I just never wanted to get sick because I don't want to stop production.
I know it was when I started the show is right around COVID, and there was a few times when I'd be talking with somebody and they would have to go do their COVID test before they go on set. And then there was one guy I was speaking with, they sent somebody to his house to swab his nose. And then,
So I decided to stay here, like in Austin. Yeah.
So they shot Fear the Walking Dead in Austin? They moved the production there?
Yeah, from Ensenada. So we shot season 2, 3, and 2 and 3 in Ensenada. And then we moved to Austin. And we did season 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we did, and 6. And then 7th, we did it in Savannah, Georgia.
That's cool that they brought
another kind of hot. Savannah.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in San Diego, and everybody would go talk about going down to Ensenada and getting the lobster tails. That was, of course, we're back to food again, but I never made my way down there. But I always said the seafood was amazing. I only saw the first season, and there's so much stuff out there I got to keep track of and watch for fun and for doing this. But it was an interesting spin on the original. Was the premise for me, a guy that I didn't go beyond season 1, but was the idea that you're moving, was it the same core cast every season, or was it kind of okay? We
started with the family, and the family, actually the first season they shot it in Canada and was pretend to be Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the family that starts in the apocalypse, they go to Baja, literally escaping the U.S. Like they cross the border in a boat.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
And that takes us to season 2, which they land in my colonia, Louisiana. And then that same core family keeps going, and we lose a couple of characters, but then we reunite at the end. So it's basically the same core family that we follow for years.
Yeah, I remember the first season they were weren't they in a hotel? Wasn't that kind of where they started off as their kind of the home base at first, and there was I know a yacht was involved. I got to go back and watch.
Yes. The Rosarito Beach and Hotel. That was season 2. That was really when the apocalypse was hitting. Because the first season was more like seeing the world collapse.
Right.
Like in The Walking Dead, the main character goes into a coma, and when he wakes up, that's the apocalypse. But in our show, the prequel, we actually get to see how the world really starts crumbling, and these people are like dealing with that. So yeah. That's the difference, too.
It's one of those shows. I don't know why I stopped watching it. I enjoyed the original show, but I think there was a certain fatigue after a while of just kind of, because it's heavy. It's a lot of
very intense.
Yeah. So before Fear the Walking Dead, like when you were first approached on that, I'm assuming you already knew about it, The Walking Dead. That was something that was already on your radar.
Yeah.
So how did that come together for you?
Well, I auditioned, and I was like you. I watched The Walking Dead, but when the prequel started, it was very new that I haven't been able to see it, like as it was coming out. So when I auditioned for it, I looked at the first few episodes, and I realized that, in The Walking Dead, the number 1 was Rick Grimes, and he was a male. But in female and Fear the Walking Dead, our number 1 was a woman. So it was basically polar opposites, like in ways to approach this entire world. and women and the apocalypse in this universe, they're really badass. So I knew
Right,
I was
right.
going in for a treat in all kinds of way. So I really got excited, and I just went and I put my heart on the audition process. And when I got it, I was literally put on a train from LA to San Diego. That beautiful train
Right,
ride. I don't
right.
know if you
It runs right along the
right
beach.
on the,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so beautiful. I never forget that first ride, getting ready for fear, reading my script, and then I crossed the border. And the next day, I was in the apocalypse in Mexico, and it was one of the most. I felt like I was living just such a precious world, where it was so dark and beautiful at the same time, and it was a great transition in my life. Yes.
Yeah, that's what a great place to shoot it, though. That's
Oh gosh, yes, yes.
beautiful
We shot
beaches.
we shot in Baja Fox Studios. That's where they shot Titanic.
Uh-huh.
So we were in the lot of this insane infinity pool that they built with the huge rig where they put the Titanic like sinking, and it was right off in front of the ocean. And imagine you're having lunch where they show Titanic, X-Men, and all these iconic,
Oh, how cool. I
movies.
didn't even know that was there. I didn't know they had a filming location in Baja.
Yeah, the Baja Studios, that's where they shot Titanic, and it was where they shot the infinity pool. Like you can see the ocean and the water, and there was a pool, and it just, you could not see that there was like a little. Uh, you can see. I mean, it was incredible how they did it. It was amazing.
Well, I'm curious,
Yeah,
kind of going back, where did you originally, when you came from Cuba, how long ago was that that you came over here?
I came in 2003.
Okay.
I came in 2003, and I started basically modeling and doing commercials. I studied dance in Cuba, so I go back to like ballet and flamenco and all this. Like I feel like if you come from an island like Cuba, it's like you dance is inevitable in your
Mm.
life. It's like either you play baseball, or you sing, or
Yeah.
you dance, or you play dominoes. It's like it's part of living. It's part of like growing up. And so then, but I ended up doing theater in Havana. And then when I came to the US, I just went to commercials, and I just started like that. I got my SAG Screen Actors Guild card doing a Old Navy commercial. I never forget, for the winter. So we
Yeah.
really start like doing Old Navy commercials, and all this. And then little by little, I got a movie, and then I got another film. My first film was with Marisa Tomei. It was a movie called Danica,
Hmm.
and it was just an incredible experience. But my base was theater in Havana,
Well,
and then little by
where did you first arrive when you got here? Where was your initial
Los Angeles,
destination? Oh, Oh, so
Los Angeles.
you went right to where it was happening.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, and it was, it was a long process starting out, but it was, coming from ballet and dance, that art takes time, and
Hmm.
and before you get to do anything good, it takes time. So the patience, which is something that people get really hang on to, like, oh, I'm not making it. It's like it was an easy transition, and also the language was another barrier that I had to really perfect and overcome, and be present. Speaking in English, whether it was acting or not acting, it was a learning curve, but it's
So did
so
you start?
special.
So were you had you studied English when you were in Cuba before you came over? Or did you kind of start the whole learning process when you got here?
Well, you start. I mean, when you're in a country that English is not the language, like it's not
Hmm.
the first language, you think you're not English. You think you know.
Oh,
You're like, oh, I can talk, and I can, communicate. But then you come to the country where English is like 24 hours, then you realize how much you have to catch up. So I understood the basics. I mean, I knew how to communicate, but when it comes to like daily life, and not turning off the language, was like, that was a challenge. And it took practice, it took time, it took years.
that's a lot to dive into. You're in not only a new country. Well, what was it? I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, was it difficult leaving logistically from Cuba, or was that? Because I always envision it like people that want to come from Cuba, they just obviously just don't envision them being able to jump on a plane like, I'm going to move to the U.S. now. So was it difficult, or was it more like, just leaving what you knew was the hard part.
Yeah, I think readjusting my entire life in an unknown world was the hardest part, because this is where I came, and understanding the culture, the language, finding my place here, finding where I belong, and it was the journey that transformed me the most,
Mm-hmm.
to the person I am, and learning the nuance of this business, and understand where I should serve, and where I should grow, and where I should study, and the weakness and strength and all that stuff is really where the growth really started for me in life. It was not so much of like leaving what I already know. It's like understanding where I am and where I'm going. I think that's kind of the life of an immigrant, a little bit of really understanding where is the place for you to serve and to be of service in
So
an
so
unknown
when you came
world.
over, were you looking at it as you had a clear goal, like, listen, I'm going to do this thing. You came from dance, you came from a theater background. So did you come going, man, I want to do the movie thing, or were you thinking I want to do theater when I get to the U.S.?
It was interesting. I never had a clear idea of what I wanted. I actually joined Debbie Allen Dance Academy when I first came, and I
Oh,
would
okay.
take ballet classes just to feel grounded, because it's something I understood, dance. So I would go in the mornings and take dance classes, and feel like, oh, I understand this world. Like it's French.
Yeah.
So it is a world that I understood. And but I was more, you can't at that stage when you're come to a new world, you can't decide where to go because everything is new. You just try to find your own place as time goes. So I joined Ivana Chubbuck Studios. So I would take scene studies there and classes. So I was finding my place I was just looking for where I
Mhm.
belong. I did not have a specific idea of what I wanted.
So did you come over with family, or were you just kind of solo? You just came on over and jumped right in.
Well, my brother was here, and I was reunited with my ex partner. So we were very little, and just my brother was really the only family I had here, and that was enough. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I was not even expecting to have friends. It was more like,
Yeah.
it
Well, it's
was
nice you have a home. You had a foundation when you landed. You were like, you had a place to
exactly
jump
so
off from.
exactly.
Kind of what was that first big project, that first thing, besides Old Navy, of course, but what was the thing that landed for you? Like, okay, I'm in it. I'm doing the thing right now. What was that for you?
You know, I did a Super Bowl commercial, and I did actually 5 Super Bowl commercials with Snoop Dogg, and I'll never forget.
Really?
It was for the Nokia,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the phone, and I did not grow up with American football, so I had no idea what I was doing in terms of commercials. I thought it was one more commercial to do,
Hmm.
and then there were 5, and the director was Guy Ritchie,
Really?
which was very wonderful. Yes, and Snoop Dogg comes, and at the time we had Johnny Cocker. He was the attorney for O.J.
Oh,
Simpson.
Johnny Cochran. Yeah. Wow. You're going back into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just such a like characters would come up, and I had no idea because it was my one of my first jobs here. I had no idea the Super Bowl. It was so American, such an American
Hmm.
culture. Like that day is the day of the year, and I remember I did it. It was 2 weeks of shooting. The most incredible characters would show up, and I remember when it came up on TV. The Super Bowl is a Super Bowl, but
Right.
then there's the commercials in the Super Bowl. And I realized, oh my God, I think I kind of done something special here. The- so it was, I felt so proud. I felt so Americans being part of the culture and being part of the commercials of the Super Bowl. That was my first like, whoa, this is cool.
Definitely levels up from Old Navy. So you went from
right?
starting to top of the commercial heap. Now going back, like what did your parents do? What kind of what was their vocation and experience back in Cuba?
Well, my mom is she's a teacher. I come from which really helped a lot growing up. Have a very structured home. I have two older brothers. We were three in total. I'm the youngest. And my dad is a professional bartender. He actually worked in this little bar where Ernest Hemingway used to have his mojitos.
Oh yeah, no. I know that. It's actually got an American name, right? It's the bar itself.
La Bodeguita.
Oh no,
yeah,
no,
La
no.
Bodeguita del Medio is where he would drink his mojitos, and El Floridita, that's where he would drink the daiquiris.
The daiquiris. That's the one. Yeah.
Floridita. So my dad worked as a professional bartender in this just iconic place in Havana. And he actually traveled opening this kind of bar in Mexico, Spain. So
really, wow,
that's
it's funny. I know about that because I was a big Anthony Bourdain fan, and I know when he went to Cuba, he went to that bar, and it's like, and the daiquiri that the way people think you're like frozen daiquiri, it's different than the daiquiri down there.
It's so different there. Yeah, it's so different, and the mojito is also different. Mm-hmm. Here they put mint. Over there, they put yerba buena, which is a kind of leaf that doesn't grow here because it's not humid enough.
No, I thought it was mint. My world has just been rocked.
No, it's not mint.
Oh.
I mean, Hemingway loved it with yerba buena. Let's put it that way. I mean, but that's how they make mojitos.
Is that like a yerba mate kind of a related tea?
It's kind of like an herb, similar to mint. It has, but it has like an earthy taste to it too. It's not as minty as mint.
Huh.
Yeah. I know, right? So these are my two. So it was a very unique place. My dad would travel, friends will come over.
Well, bartenders, they're on a stage as well, So there's kind of a, I don't call it a performance, but maybe it is performance.
I think a little bit. I mean, they come, you give them a good time, and you talk, and then they go, and they, apart from the drink, it's an experience. And I feel like Cuba has so much history, and the fact that it's like, still is preserving the 1950s style.
Yes, yeah.
Like you go to places and you see pictures of Frank Sinatra, Hemingway. That's where he wrote the Old Man and the Sea novels. And you go to places and you can feel that vibe everywhere. And then you put the drinks on top of it, and then the heat, and then the water. It's like, it's really truly magical.
That was that was where Americans went. I mean, that predated like Las Vegas and all that. And I think
that was Las Vegas and the Caribbean. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was leveled up as almost kind of like a French Riviera-ish kind of a vibe back in the day. And
totally.
There was a really good movie I saw a long time ago. It's with it probably came out in the I don't know, maybe late 60s with Sean Connery. I forgot what that was. I forgot the name of it, but it was that snapshot of time when things changed, and the preservation of the cars there. I mean, the kind of money those people could fetch for those cars in the U.S., it would just be astronomical. But it's just there's a resilience, and there is a kind of a just figure it out vibe of the people there, which is just, it's a place I've always wanted to go. I think friends of mine who live in Canada, they go regularly. So.
Oh, yes. We have a lot of Canadian tourism and European too, for sure.
So what did your folks think about you coming? Were they encouraging it? Were they like, I don't know about you're going to Los Angeles?
My parents are always very supportive of what I do. And that is something that I really has helped me grow as a human. Like every time good changes come with like a scary feelings, right? Like it's because you don't know until you know. And the unknown part of living is what really scares you. And having parents that they understand that I am in the unknown and they're in the unknown as parents and still have the courage to say, it's worth it. And it's you have to try it. And it's how we raise you. And it's who we are. It's something that really I carry with me, like starting new projects that are so scary. when you start new characters, when you go to auditions. Like I feel like life is full of this scary unknowns
Mm.
places that it takes
Well, the
you.
only
That
constant in life is change. So it's kind of when you embrace it and you ride it kind of like a surfer riding a wave. You may fall down every now and then,
oh yeah,
but
it's
that's so funny.
inevitable.
You
But
said that thing about parents. It's like you're in the unknown. That's one of the things kids don't know. It's like you got somebody that's doing on the job training while they're raising you, that kind of a thing.
that's right. Yeah,
So did
yeah.
you,
So
how long did you live in Los Angeles?
I lived in LA for 16 years.
Oh, so you're there for a while.
And
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But it was interesting because I lived there for 16 years because I had my place there, but I was always traveling. Like Fear the Walking Dead took 6, 7 months out of my life overseas in Mexico, but I will always go back to LA. So
Mm.
if we really look at it from like, okay, when did you full time move? Like your home became where you came to? Yes, 16 years.
Now officially a Texan. You probably, and I got my little can of water here from HEB. So you probably do your HEB shopping.
Love HEB.
You gotta
We
love
have
those
Trader
stores.
Joe's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You do have Trader Joe's. That's right. Because you had a little
I
bit
do
of
have
you
Trader
got a little bit
Joe's
of that
here.
LA vibe hanging out there. But yeah, I'm a big fan of and people in Texas will know the tortillas you get at HEB, which are
Oh,
solid.
very fresh.
Yeah, so that's
Very
one of the things I
fresh.
love about coming back down here because I lived in New Orleans for 20 years, being a Dallas kid. But I was down there. My youngest graduated high school, hit the ejection seat on New Orleans, decided, where do I want to go? LA, back to Southern California, back home to Dallas, where I'm from. I was like, you know what? I grew up coming to this place. And I call it my tropical Mayberry. It's like 3,000 full-time residents. But Austin is kind of where a lot of the people down here in the Valley like to drive up to. That in San Antonio, or kind of like they do their little excursions up there. I have yet to do so since I've been here.
Oh, you have to. It's great.
Absolutely. Here I am right about lunchtime talking about tortillas, and this always happens. I always record. Anybody listening to the show knows I always record right around lunch. It seems like, and I'm always hungry. And so, but you do like a cooking thing, a web video, like you do. Are the cooking lessons, or are you just exploring food, or kind of what are you doing on your program?
It's called Cooking with La Familia. So basically, COVID hit. I never forget, we were shooting Fear the Walking Dead, which is already an apocalypse with dealing with virus, right? So the producers come and they said, you gotta go home. There's a virus and it's a pandemic. And we thought it was a joke because I'm like, we've been killing zombies for like a few years. We're like, what? And they're like, no, this is very serious, and we have to stop production. Everybody go home until further notice. And we thought it was going to take a week. We thought it was going to take 2 weeks, a month at the most. Here we are, 2 months in, and I don't know what to do with my life. I feel like I don't know. We're imitating life, and life is imitating art because we've been like literally living in this high stakes in the show, but now we're living that in our real life. So I decided to do this thing called karaoke's and chats, and I would literally go on live Instagram and I would sing Spanish songs like salsa, and then I would do a chat about how to handle this hard time. Like, let's keep our beds, let's keep our homes clean. Just basically like something positive, and then I will end it with singing karaoke. And then after that, we kept prolonging our break. The pandemic kept going. And then I decided to be like, who would like to cook? And then everybody kept saying, yes, let's go, let's do it. And I just started cooking Cuban food. I just would do a live on Instagram, and I taught everybody how to make arroz con pollo, tostones, which are
Oh
plantains,
yeah, yeah.
black beans, Cuban black beans. I mean, I even made them a mojito with hierbabuena because I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
So I would make like dishes, and everybody would be cooking with me live. And then they would send pictures of I taught them how to make flan, like, the Cuban
Yeah, yeah,
flan.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, the whole deal, I would be live. Like, you put the
Oh, you
flan in
did it
the
live.
oven.
You didn't pre-record it and put it out there. You're just okay.
No. It was live, and then I would take that footage and I would put it on my YouTube. And I started cooking with La Familia because everybody was en familia. So that's what you do.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, that was so funny. You brought back that memory of, like they said, it was always like, oh, this is only going to last so long, and it was always this kind of odd
Going,
story.
going.
Yeah, just I vividly remember I was in LA 2019, and it was right around Christmas time, I think, and that's when people first started talking about plane travel. The other part, there's this thing going on. I'm like, okay, and next thing you know, we're
Yes.
washing our groceries, but.
So that's how
So do you
cooking
kind
was
of
born.
you embrace
Born
that
out of
as kind of a way to stay connected, and in a way still
yes.
kind of, do you find, are you kind of person who has to kind of
Well,
be in motion? Do you find that about yourself? Are you kind of always want to be working on something, or kind of a
yes.
kinetic energy kind of a thing?
I always love the idea of feeling like I am serving a purpose, even if it's through food. I mean, I don't care. Like I just love the feeling of always contributing to something that is connected to my heart. Like I love every project I've done. I love each one of them. Every character I've done, I love each one of them. My podcast, my cooking show, like everything has like it's connected to my heart and
Hmm.
my integrity. It's all very emotionally connected. In that was a moment to explore that part of me through cooking. I didn't know I had it in me. I thought I'd be like, oh, but then all of a sudden it was possible, and I did it. And
Well, imagine
it's a
COVID not being able to. I was just thinking about this just now, like COVID, but what if we were not as connected that as we could be with phones, internet, whatever? Imagine how isolating that would have been without all that.
absolutely.
Now I'm just tired of social media at some level. I'm like, it's cool, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, starting to enjoy my non-screen time. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um,
Well, no, it does make perfect sense. And I think it's gone so far, such an extreme, this whole social media that now we have to connect with humans too. And
exactly.
it's like have conversations, like even conversations with you, Mark, it's like talking about things like that are so important that it's not just scrolling
Oh,
down.
being connected is so essential, and that's why I love Gen Z. Is I keep reading these things about how they are sort of disconnecting a little bit from the digital. The idea of being able to date in person as opposed to trying to find
Oh my
some. They like the IRL thing, and my oldest daughter is 23, and I know their generation. I think is. I think they grew up with it being there, so maybe they're kind of starting to look. Okay, well, what else is out there? So hopefully Gen Z
yeah,
will save us. Fingers crossed. But
fingers crossed to the future.
yeah. So do you have any little ones or any kids?
I do. I have a son. My son is actually 24.
Oh, okay, okay.
Can you believe? Yes. I most of my life, all I've done is raise a child, just one boy, and seeing him grow and be. He actually graduated in Austin College, and during the pandemic, which was
Wait, he went to
out.
U. He went to UT.
He went to St. Edward's University.
Oh, St. Edwards.
St.
Oh, okay.
Edward's. Do you know St. Ed's?
Yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys used to train there many years ago. That was like their
Really?
training thing. Yeah, for a long
Oh,
time
I
ago,
didn't know.
back when they were good.
Yeah, St. Ed's was a really great school, like to go, because it's such a small school in comparison to UT. UT is like 50,000 kids. St. Ed's is like
Yeah.
4,000. So they went back to school earlier than the norm because it's like 7 kids per classroom, and it was a very good way to not lose the experience of college or education when they need it the most during the pandemic. So yeah, so my son loves Cuban food, loves the culture. He ate a lot of Cuban food during
Oh,
the
oh,
pandemic.
he hit the jackpot, man. He just he was not in a chicken finger or chicken nugget household. He
No,
was so
yes,
the question is, has he embraced the actual cooking? Is this something that he can go into the kitchen and make things happen?
loves it. Oh my God! The thing is that where I come from, we don't have anything frozen when it comes
Mhm.
to food. First of all, it's so hot, nothing stays frozen
Right.
for a long time. So I grew up just eating fresh food every day. My mom will cook it every day. So that's what I did when he was growing up. I would just cook every day, like fresh, because that's how I grew up. So he is very used to being in the
He
kitchen,
probably has a
picking
really
up for
good
me.
palate for what's good. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of the way I
yeah.
was with my kids. I always try to like keep the processed stuff out of the house. Occasionally an Oreo would slide into the pantry, but and
We can't help the Oreos.
yeah. Or, you would always shop at Whole Foods, so we go in there. They enjoy so shopping is something that you got used to, and the cooking so now it's like my daughter the other day, she just kind of conjured up an idea with fajitas. Was it fajita? No. Yeah. No, chicken tacos. That's what we worked on. And she just kind of came up with this idea and just like ran with it. And like, she basically cooked the dinner and the dessert. So I was like, hey, got
Hey,
to get her to do
that's
that more often, She's,
yes, but that's because they grew up being used to seeing food being cooked in
yeah,
front.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not afraid of the process. Like if you look at old pictures from like I'm saying old pictures because they're not like 10 years old, but pictures in the 80s, 90s, every picture of a mother is in the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
like they're all with aprons, hot, just because they cook for the family. Nothing was pre-cooked. So it really transformed the way we think. Like when you open a door, it's just food and anything. It just
Yeah.
feels
But
somebody's
there was that thing in
cooking.
America, the Gen X kids. I think there was a hammock of time in the 80s when kids were left kind of to their own devices and they were like the frozen dinners and stuff like that. And that's like,
The parents were working.
yeah, yeah. So that was, I don't know, maybe that was kind of the reason why, the whole family dinners thing was not a big thing in my house. And I really wanted to do that. So I had this thing with the kids. We always try to eat at the table together, as opposed to going many different directions. But so what's does your son kind of take your cue in terms of theatrical work, or is he doing something totally unrelated to what his mom does?
He graduated from accounting and
Oh,
finance. He loves numbers, but he loves the arts. Like he actually now tells me that he's so thankful that I took him to so many ballet classes and
hmm
ballet, theater and museums. Like I always feel like no matter what you do in life, having a connection with the arts, having an appreciation and a taste for, anything else surrounding you when it comes to music or anything, it's so important.
but it's
And
also the people who do the art that make it's more
yeah,
interesting to they're a wonderful tribe of weirdos, and you realize you're one of them. It's nice to, especially when you're watching the news and you see politics. I've kind of noticed I'm kind of trying to go on a news diet, and I'm kind of a little
oh,
bit.
I love that news diet. Is that a thing?
Well,
Please,
I'm making it a thing, but
I'm buying it.
I'm kind of wired into the kind of the arts scene down here on the island because I kind of like, as a kid, say IRL, just trying to interact with some folks, and get to spend some time with some artists, and it's really cool because when you're on that same frequency, you're creative. You're in a different zone and different genre or a different medium, if you will. But that's the same thing with dance for you, because the dance
Of course,
is
and
performance
theater,
and
life. It's an energy that you're receiving in a dark place, like or in an outdoor place. Like it doesn't matter. There's a beautiful saying in Cuba that says, talking about food, food nurtures your body, but the arts nurtures your soul,
hmm
and you need both to learn, to grow, to feel, to be connected. And food, you eat food together, and you can enjoy the arts together. But they're both are nurturing you.
You ever make it down here? Have you been down to the this part of the coast?
I do want to go. Everybody tells me, you want to go to the beach, you go to South Padre Island. I do want to go. But Mark, I wanted to tell you that if you ever come to Austin, I don't, do you like jazz? I mean, being from
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Well, I spent originally from Dallas. So I always clarify, but I spent 20
Oh, I'm
years there.
sorry.
Oh, no,
You
no, no, no!
mentioned
I spent 20 years there, so I do have this. I've always had kind of an affinity for jazz and the derivative. Like what it kind of blues and things that sort of spawned. Yeah.
yes. So in Austin, there's this beautiful place called the Elephant Room. And it's like a place that you go on the ground and it's jazz. It's full jazz. And the reason why it's called the Elephant Room is because they found mammal bones in there.
Really?
Whoa. Yeah. I'm like, jazz, mammal, whoa. But check out the Elephant Room. And there's so many jazz places here. But it's that energy of like live singing
There
and
is something to be said for for that. I remember one time I was back in 2001ish or so. The Neville Brothers are playing at Jazz Fest in New Orleans, and I was, for one reason or another, I was able to be back. I was on the stage, but just off to the side. I was kind of hanging out, kind of watching, these guys do their thing. When it's right up on, you're right up on it. It is. You can. There's an energy, and if I God, I just remember this. And this dude was next to me. He's wearing like army fatigues, and he was grooving. I mean, like, people can't see me now, pretend like I'm dancing, grooving or whatever. And he had this little like earring, had like a little fish on it. One of those little articulated. In Asia, they're like these little metal anyway, it's like a little fish is what it was. We kind of chatted, and I wasn't really dialing in. Sunglasses, hat on. It's Lawrence Fishburne is standing next to me. He's getting all. So I'm like hanging out, watching Neville Brothers on the side stage, standing next to Lawrence Fishburne. I'm like, this is one of the coolest things. I got to tell this story. I haven't told that story hardly ever, but now I'm telling you and the folks listening.
That is incredible.
It is, as far as career stuff and the things you've done. What haven't you done? That is there something you're like, I really want to do this. This is on my bucket list, to work with a person or a director or a genre or a type of a story. I mean, what is still kind of itching, making you think, I want to do this thing?
I every time I get this question, because it comes out often in terms of like, what is the one thing you haven't done or you want to do? And I really never know how to answer it, because it's like every time you get into a job, everything that I'm about to do, I've never done before.
Uh-huh.
So it's always like, oh, how are we going to get through this? Like, because it's usually a new location, or it's usually it's a new world, it's new filmmakers, new artists, new actors. And everybody has this idea of what this vision that we're doing is. And it's like, it never gets old for me. I don't, and so I don't know what I want to do next. All I know is that I'm going to have fun because that's what's been happening.
So you just kind of like to throw yourself into, whatever's coming at you is, always just say yes.
I always say yes. I always say yes. I mean, I get scared. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, because I don't have all the answers, but I'm used to that feeling.
Well, Dogg, I was hoping you did, because I mean, like, I got some questions. It'd be nice if somebody had all the answers, because the older I get, the less I think I know. Which is just a weird.
Oh my God, he has no idea. I mean, right? You just don't know. So to even have something in my mind that I want to do, there's so much I don't know that I don't want to just even put a barrier into. Like, I want to do this. I don't know. I really don't know.
How did M.I.A. come to you? Was that something that somebody reached out and said, hey, we got a thing that we're doing and we think you're great for it? Or did you do the audition process?
I did the whole audition process. And I'll tell you, when I finished Fear the Walking Dead, I was in a very delicate place, because then it's like finding your next home. Like, where am I doing next after 7 seasons?
You've had that ability to develop a sense of home. That's yes. For a lot of people don't. They go work on a project, a few months are done. You're there, developing relationships and
7 seasons of almost 100 episodes of television on Fear. So like, I know these people really well. So now when you finish that and you wrap it and it's done, then what's next? And that place was like, where am I going? And I could not think of like where I see myself. I'm like, I'm just putting out everything's for the best. I don't know where, but I will be ready. Mm-hmm. So when M.I.A. came, I got a call and they said, they would like you to audition for this. And this is a beautiful project. And it's Bill Dubuque next show, which is the creator of Ozark. Uh-huh. And now Ozark has been one of my time's favorite during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It became huge during the pandemic. And I do remember saying, if I ever would do a show after Fear, I want something with this grit, like this depth and this beautiful character arc. I remember feeling so inspired by the actors, the whole deal, the whole package. Loved it. So when they said, is the creator of Ozark, I'm like, I literally was like, what? I felt like somebody was calling from, above in the sky. And since COVID, we've been putting ourselves on tape and send it to audition, right? It's called self tapes. But this time I called my rep and I said, "Hey, would they be open to do in person audition?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they were like, let me call you back. Talking about in person, right?
Yeah, I
Talking
can't tell
about
you the
that
amount of
connect.
people I've spoken with who have actually said that they want to get back to it, in person because
Oh
during
my
COVID,
gosh.
the tape thing was the jam, what everybody just kind of went to.
So it stays doing self tape. They don't do in persons anymore.
Hmm.
So my rep said, "Hey, they're willing to do an in person," and I just flew myself to LA. I rented an Airbnb close to the casting director's office. I walked, and I literally it was March last year. It was so hot already, and I studied during the whole trip the night before, and the day of the audition I went in person for the first time since COVID before, and I had an hour and 45 minutes audition.
Wow.
It was 1 hour and 45 minutes. I remember my agents were calling, "Are you okay? Are you still there? What's going on?"
No.
Like,
Usually
it
since you're
was
maybe 5 minutes at best.
at best, yeah, like 30 when you're talking about the role, but
Yeah.
it was such an exercise of in all levels. Like I was just going with the flow, whatever they want me to do. I was so hungry for this in-person experience that time went by for me so quickly until I left the room and I realized I was hungry, I was hot, I was thirsty. Like my whole body was like,
Because you're
wow.
dialed in on a whole different frequency. But I know this is supposed to take place in Miami. Do they shoot it in Miami or do they?
The whole thing was shot in Miami,
Ah,
like
okay.
in
Where
Miami.
your
I
people, a
mean,
lot
it
of your
was.
people are there. So, and
Oh
your
my God,
and your
talking about
food.
Cuban food. Talking about Cuban food and Cuban cafecito halfway. Like, okay, at 2 p.m., there was a craft lady that would come with like little, like, little shots of cafe,
Oh, those
of
those
Cuban
the,
coffee.
y'all don't play when it comes to coffee. That stuff will light you up.
Oh my God. Everybody was going downhill 2 p.m. They will have a shot and it'd be like, whoop!
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So that's what happens in Florida. I only lived that in Florida. And in Miami was what a treat. It's called M.I.A. and it's Miami.
Mhm.
So happy we shot the whole thing in Miami because it's really a character.
Yeah.
Miami is its own character.
Did you work with Billy Burke at all, or I don't know if he was just in an episode or two?
Oh yeah, no, we didn't work together.
Okay.
It's yeah. A lot of the storylines are not. I'm not in.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
connect.
Yeah, because I
Not
saw
yet.
he's cool dude. I just kind of saw him and Edward James Olmos, who's just super cool guy.
Oh, I worked with him. I mean, when he
Oh,
came to set, it was like iconic. I mean, Miami Vice. I mean, we're talking what made Miami in
oh
the movies.
yeah,
In the
yeah. Because he's just so talented and he really commands a presence. So you had a chance to act with him. How amazing is that?
he came to set, and the whole crew, everybody, he came, and we really felt that he blessed us. Like because it's Miami, he started so many iconic shows, and he was in the first episode. He's actually in the trailer. He's so iconic. I mean, when you just know you're in the presence of someone on a frequency that is just so above.
How cool! How
It's just
cool is that?
beautiful.
And I love all the Latin actors. I'm a big fan. I mean, like living here is so wonderful because I get to use all my poorly crafted Spanish. All my kids did a Spanish immersion growing up, and in school. And my oldest can speak it and understand it very well. I know my youngest understands it. But she just is wonky about wanting to speak it. But it's so funny because when they correct me on Spanish, it's like I speak Texas Spanish. Kind of like you. Hey, I do the best I can. I try. The more tequila I have, I don't drink tequila, but whenever I did in my younger days, I thought my Spanish was so pristine. Uh,
Well, because you relax and you don't overthink twice. Like when you drink anything, you just like cerveza, baño. Like you become so like so
usually,
like
usually the two of those are used in the same evening frequently. Yes, but yeah.
cerveza and baño.
One of the things I always do towards the end of my chats is something I call my 7 questions, which is a little extra fun. And we've talked food, but I always ask the first question, which is one of my favorites, which is, what is your favorite comfort food? That thing you love, which you've had a bad day, it elevates your mood. Having a great day, it just kind of adds to it. What would that comfort food be for you?
I love tostones, which is the fried plantains.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not healthy, but it's like,
Oh,
God, this changes my mood. Like, I'm not tired anymore.
Well, there's a place here on the island that serves ceviche, and then they have fried. They do a long slice of the tostone and use that instead of a chip. That's so good.
That anything with tostones, it changes my mood. Anything, fish, meat, anything. Even by itself, it's just great.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think it's more of a Puerto Rican thing, but mofongo.
Actually,
mofongo
in the show, mofongo is amazing. It's very Caribbean.
The next question now, if we're going to sit down, we're going to have one of those little what do you call it, cafecitos? Is that what they call the small? Okay, maybe big coffees, because this is going to be a nice long afternoon sitting down at a table with 3 people, living or not. Who would those 3 people be you would like to sit down with for hours and just have a great conversation?
Oh my gosh! Well, one of my great friends that I just talked, Ruben Blades.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Salazar on Fear the Walking Dead. He's an iconic actor, a great musician. He's won every Grammy out there possible. Ruben Blades.
Really?
Oh my God, he's like 25 Grammys. It's ridiculous. He's an attorney, graduated from Harvard. He's from Panama. He ran for president of Panama. I mean, talking to Ruben even without cafecito, it's such a joy. Somebody that I would love to talk to join that conversation. Do you know, just because I had it in my mind for the past couple of days, do you know this novel called 100 Years of Solitude?
I think I've heard of it. I can't say I know too much about it.
Okay, yeah, his name is Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He's one of the most iconic writers in Latin America. 100 Years of Solitude, Love in the Times of Cholera. Like he's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's an icon. So so I'd love to talk to him. And you say another person,
yeah,
third person,
3 people. Uh huh.
Gosh, could it be a character?
Yes, sure.
I don't know. Does it have to be fictional? Could it be fictional?
Sure, because nobody's done that, but yeah, I like that. That would be very interesting. What would a fictional character be like in that? Because it's not just talking with you; it's talking amongst the 3 of them, talking amongst each other. Which
the 3, yeah, like somebody that we could talk to, like just the 3 of us. Because I feel like it should be a girl, because we would laugh so hard. I don't know. Gosh, that's a good question, Mark. Well, I feel like I'm having a great time talking to you. Now I'm thinking of
likewise.
you.
No, I
join that conversation with coffee. I think you could join any conversation with coffee and with tostones.
That would be wonderful. What's that thing they do in Mexico? They take the coffee, the Mexican coffee, and the churros, and they dip it in the chocolate. Oh no, it's hot chocolate. That's what it is. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You are my third person, Mark, just because I've been having a great time.
Well, you know what? That's the first time anybody said that, and I'm going to put a gold star somewhere in my studio here.
And that's a lot for someone that I've never met before. It's not like we known each other, but I feel like
you got to come. You and your son got to come down to Padre. We'll have the tostones and the ceviche, and watch the sunset over the Laguna Madre.
And the margaritas. It's like
margaritas
like
at least 1 or 20. So
just 1 or 2. Just start with 1 or cerveza.
That would be wonderful.
You know how to say cerveza and baño, so
Well, they do something down here. They when I came down years ago, they said, "Do you want it dressed?" I said, "Dressed? What do you mean?" They take tahine and they put it on the bottle, so you can lick a little tahine, not salt, but it's I like yes. My Modelo's dressed. So, now the next question I got for you: if you could go back when you were younger, who was your celebrity crush when you were a young Danay?
Oh my God, Brad Pitt! Are you kidding?
Oh, of course.
I watch meeting Joe Black, I was like, I think I was 12. I'm
Oh my
like,
God. That
wow.
was, yeah, that was
I
great.
don't,
That was with Anthony Hopkins also was in that, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. I remember I did not speak English then, but I felt like I understood him. I was
Well,
like, I get it.
you don't need to
I don't know what
speak.
you said, but I get
Yes.
it.
He's not human. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that guy. There's something a little off.
The scenes with Anthony Hopkins, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like they were together. It was just magical. It was, Anthony's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what an act.
And the thing about Brad Pitt, I think, is he's very talented, but I think his looks get in the way. Sometimes you're just kind of like, yeah, that guy's just too pretty, you know. And then now, the next question, if you're going to be forced to live on an island, not forced, but it's a beautiful exotic island, and somebody's like, you got to be there for an entire year. It's beautiful. You want to be there, but no streaming. So if you want to listen to music, you got to bring one CD or a box set. And if you want to watch a movie, you're allowed to bring one DVD. What would that CD and what would that DVD be for you?
Gosh, I right away I thought of Celia Cruz. I think I will listen to salsa because if I'm by myself, it needs to be musical and fun.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Oh,
Celia
yeah.
Cruz will be
So
like,
you're
you
looking
know,
at it
like
not just listening, you're looking at it as a dancing kind of a thing. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I cannot be sad. It can't be something I can't sing or like lyrics. It needs to have lyrics and it needs to be like movement.
Uh-huh.
So definitely any salsa. Celia Cruz would be ideal. Like Carnaval, life is a carnival. That's an amazing thing to be stuck in an island with.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and gosh, you know, I love 007 movies, like the classics. I would take a few 007 movies and just watch James Bond just kick ass and Sean
What a good
Connery. Like it's just
that would be a great box set. And I got to say, next to Sean Connery, I got to say Daniel Craig was my favorite Bond.
Daniel Craig was epic.
He
Casino
was
Royale, right?
Daniel Craig's era was more not gritty, it was more real. You know, it's more like
Real.
yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
oh
You understood his pain and his charm and the whole orphan thing, how he turned around and made it like just posh and fun.
oh yeah, and
So I think I
that
would
last
go,
one, that last film though, that
oh,
was the perfect way to wrap his,
yeah, his
arc.
journey. I think I would get Daniel Craig's like trilogy, or I don't know how many he did, like four. He did four.
I'm not that sounds about right. That sounds about right. But yeah.
Yeah. So any 007 like trilogy, yeah, just chunk. I think it's like, oh, it's just because it's beautiful, fun, beautiful. It's just good stories, and I don't
And you
want
get
to
to
cry in an
travel.
island.
Yeah, I always like James Bond because you went places. It was a journey. Kind of same thing like
Yeah,
about Indiana Jones. There was a journey he went on.
I love Indiana Jones too. Yeah.
So the next question I got, if you were to say from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, if you look at the ingredients of a perfect day for you, what would the recipe for a perfect day be from the time you get up to the time you go to bed?
I love to read, so definitely would like to spend 30 minutes reading a good book. I love reading. Um, I love eating, so definitely I will cook something delicious for me. I love my dog, so I love giving him a walk or just have some quality of time.
What kind of dog?
I have an Aussie Doodle, Australian Shepherd and Poodle.
Ooh, there's a lot going on there. Okay.
It's a pandemic dog. He came during the pandemic. I'm like, he lit up my day. Um, I love cooking something, reading, spending time, just a nice walk in nature. Um, Gosh, if I'm working, definitely go to set.
Hmm.
I love people. I love being part of a community. I love when you go in and just deliver something special and give people hugs goodbye and see you next time. It's just such a good feeling to be around people and
Yeah,
then read a good book after that, right?
exactly. I like
It's
the thing
so
about the
fun.
dog is the dogs they start and they complete our day. If you have a dog,
They do.
yeah, my dog has
Yeah.
this. I have a 2-year-old golden retriever who's got his own routine.
Oh,
he'll wait for me to brush my teeth, and then when I'm done getting ready, he'll then jump up in bed. And he
oh
sits there
yeah.
and watches me and makes sure. I don't know what he's watching, but he sits there and like I guess brushing your teeth looks a little weird to a dog. I don't know, but he'll sit there and
They
watch it.
don't get that.
He's an adolescent. He's a very honorary. But the next question, hey, if somebody said, Danay, you can't do this anymore. Acting, this creative thing that you're used to is not available to you anymore. What would be the other vocation, the other job that you would love to do besides acting?
I would love, if I couldn't do it, would love to be attached to it. So I think I would teach it. I would love
Okay.
to be, yeah, I think I would love to be around children, introduce them the power of the arts. I think I will just go to the beginning of humanity. How can I instill that? I think it's so important because it's a way to also feel connected
I
for
was just about to
kids.
say it's a connection. It
It's
when
connection.
you realize that somebody else is. That's I think where this medium, podcasting. I mean, I think it gives people opportunity to go. Oh, I'm not the only one who feels or thinks or reacts or whatever the way other people do. Other people are the same. And so
We're
it's
so
yeah,
we're
and in
so
a very,
similar.
do you think we're getting like in an isolated world kind of? The digital thing is kind of bred, especially COVID just poured gasoline on the fire, but where people are kind of isolated in their own space, in their own head in a way. So yeah, I think acting is a great thing to learn because it kind of forces you to listen, right? So there you go. You
Yes.
could be an acting teacher. So that would be choice number 2. So the last question though I got is, if you were to jump into a DeLorean, we took you back in time to when you were 16 years old and you got a piece of advice, you got a couple minutes to spend with yourself. You have a piece of advice to 16-year-old you to make that moment in your life maybe a little bit better or to put yourself on a little different trajectory. But what would that advice be for you?
Gosh, you see, I don't regret anything that has happened to me. So I think what I would have told myself, younger self, is trust the process and have fun. Trusted, trusted.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't. I mean, I did anyway, but it would have been nice to to know
To know that you were
that
making
trust
the
is
decision that
the way
works. Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because there's a time that you have no choice but to trust it. You're like, okay. I mean, I already said yes. So, what am I going to do with my yes is up to me. I'm going to trust what I say yes to. But hearing that, knowing that at 16, like, hey, what's about to happen? Trust it. The good, the bad, the rejection, the love, the yes and the no's, trust it. It's gonna be better in the long run. And I mean, it happened that way, but it would have been really nice.
No,
Really nice.
it certainly sounds like it worked out wonderfully. I mean, you ended up in Austin. I mean, come on, you did well.
Trust the process. Trusted. Yeah. And I love it here. I love Austin. It's a great place to reconnect
Well,
with
hey,
yourself.
if you ever head south, send up a flare or say, I'm heading that way. We'll have tostones and, the good stuff, but,
Bet on it, Mark.
well, Denai, I so appreciate you sharing your time with me today. It's been more than a pleasure and really enjoyed just spending some time with you. And, it's your
It
M.I.A
was
is going to
really
be on,
fun.
well, M.I.A, is it on NBC or NBC and Peacock or just
So
Peacock? It's,
it starts on Peacock May 7th, but it will be air on NBC May 14th, and that it will be
oh,
weekly. What I can tell you from the show is that this is one of the experiences that I had the most fun, like in every shape or form. I think you're gonna enjoy it.
And
If
you
you like,
used to hang out with zombies during a pandemic, so I trust your assessment here. If you say it's fun, I'm going to trust you. Plus,
oh
Edward
yeah,
James Olmos, and I can't beat that. But
yeah.
I'm gonna go grab some lunch now because you've made me way too hungry right now.
Thank you, Mark.
There you go, Danay Garcia. She is so much fun. I enjoy this conversation so much. The new show, don't forget, it is called M.I.A. It is on NBC and Peacock. And don't forget to check out her podcast. Where do you find that? Just go to storyandcraftpod.com. Everything about, of course, Danay, as well as all of our past guests. Also go to Substack. Just go to storyandcraft.substack.com. And don't forget to like Story and Craft on your favorite podcast app. We're on all of them. And follow the show. You get notified every time a new episode comes out. Leave a comment, the thumbs up, ring the bell. Do all the jazz on every one of the platforms. Why not? Help people to find the show. And of course, great episodes to come. In fact, if you're a big fan of all things Taylor Sheridan, the Taylor Sheridan universe, the new show, Dutton Ranch, you probably know it's coming out. I'm not going to say whether I have or have not seen the first few episodes, but I'm just going to say it's a great show. That's all I'm going to say. And one of the fine actors in Dutton Ranch going to be coming up here in just a few weeks. All right, so hey, do me a favor. You have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. And as I always say, thank you very, very much for making what I got going on here part of whatever you've got going on. It means a lot. So you have a good one. Be safe, and we will see you next time right here on Story and Craft.
That's it for this episode of Story and Craft. Join Mark next week for more conversation right here on Story and Craft. Story and Craft is a presentation of Mark Preston Productions, LLC. Executive producer is Mark Preston. Associate producer is Zachary Holden. Please rate and review Story and Craft on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. You can subscribe to show updates and stay in the know. Just head to storyandcraftpod.com and sign up for the newsletter. I'm Emma Dillon. See you next time, and remember, keep telling your story. Come on.